Hello and welcome to the Arventa podcast. Today I have Jason as the guest. Jason, how are you?
Very good, thank you. And yourself?
Good, good. Thank you. So sunny in Ireland. So we are delighted to have this brilliant weather. Jason, tell me about your business, what you do.
So I run a company called Mr. Magic 7 Services Limited, and we specialize in window cleaning, gutter repairs and replacement, fascia and soffit cleaning, power washing services, and then we have the ionic reach and wash system, the purified water-fed pole system, and our seventh service is called the Magic Service. And the Magic Service was created to help any clients that have a difficult job they can't find someone to do. They ask Mr. Magic, and he'll get the job done.
This is absolutely amazing presentation. You do a lot. Do you have a big team behind that?
We do, thank God. We're 17 years in business. At one point, we had 8 people on board. It's a very intensive business. There's cleaning 6 days a week. It's very intensive. They say it's a young man's job. So you have to recruit people consistently. There's a change in staff consistently. You get the whole guys for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 5 years. But because we're so long in the game, we have to accept that people get older, they change their views, they change their profession, and they move on. So it's a hard one where it comes to staff, I have to say.
Yeah, I can imagine that. But I have a question out of curiosity. Everybody's talking about generation one, millennials, generation Z. They are so different, and it's different approach to the business, different approach to work. How does it affect your business?
So I suppose every day is a new day. Every day you just wake up and you just literally whatever presents itself to you. Like today we have 3 guys working, thank God, and myself and then 2 people in the office. So we're rebuilding from what we used to have and we're setting our stall out again, starting all over basically from a few years of intensive work. Now we're changing the system. Now we're implementing systems. So if a staff member doesn't turn in, they get 2 or 3 warnings and that's it. You just have to let them go. The good guys then that stick on board and work hard, you respect them, you honour them, and you treat them well. And hopefully they will stay for as long as you can. But as I said, it's a young man's job, so going up and down ladders and using all the strength and energy you have to use, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So
hmm
I know that you, Jason, apart from this hard work that you're doing, because that's the nature of the business,
hmm
you in your business you're also using the technology. Would you give
Yeah.
us a bit of an overview what kind of tech you're using?
So I suppose nowadays it's brilliant because when a client rings and says, "Hi Jason, I'd like my windows and my gutters cleaned," I say, "That's okay. Where are you based?" "I'm over in Donamead." "Lovely. Can I have your address, please?" "Yeah." So they get the address and I just check on Google Earth and we can see the whole house. So we can see the person's house and we can tell them exactly what we're going to do for them and what we can charge them. You couldn't do that years ago. You used to have to go to the client, see the house, time consuming. Now it's a click of a button. So your mobile phone is your best friend. As regarding with the office, the guys are redeveloping our website. They're starting to use AI interactions and stuff like that, which is all beneficial. So I don't really get my nose into that stuff because I've enough going on with the operations. But with the AI, you can see that everything is automated to the best of your ability. So you only use the human touch one to one, connecting with the person. But after that, then when they know what to expect from Mr. Magic, they just click the buttons and they get the service delivered. And that's an amazing transformation. Yeah, it is indeed.
Yeah, I know that a lot of businesses are using automation, like sometimes partially to automate some processes. Sometimes they implement the whole systems. But you told that you're in business for a long time. So
Mm.
if you compare the tech stack you used before and now, so probably before you started with the website, which was more like most likely static. How did
Yeah.
it change right now? Like maybe you have interactions on social media or you apart from the phone calls and
Mm.
messaging, so anything else that you see that rapidly changed even your industry?
So I suppose there's a couple of things. So recently a guy approached me and asked me would I like to do an interview on RTE radio on a program called The Business, and it was on the 4th of July on Saturday morning, and it was on at between 10 and 11 a.m. So the guy literally came up to my house, met me where my workplace was, checked the van out, recorded me while we were doing it, got into the van, drove down, met a few customers, met the staff, had a lovely bit of banter together, and he put that out on air. And within a few minutes, the phone started ringing. Jason, I heard you on RT radio. Jason, I heard you on a well done on the radio. I go to shops. Ah, you Mr. Magic, you Jason. I heard you on the radio, you know. So the radio is a very big factor in advertising. So if anyone wants advertising like that, get on the radio if you can, or you like you say, the podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. I suppose as well, then we drive around in vans that are very colourful. You can't miss Mr. Magic's vans. You know, like I have a purple van, a green van, a yellow van, you know, I had a red van, a blue van, you know, all different colours. And people just say, you have every colour of the rainbow. And I say, yeah, I do, because that's what we're based on. You know, our business was based on the rainbow, you know.
I
So,
think, Jason, it's also a kind of marketing because if you have
yes,
something bright on the dull road with everything that is gray or white,
indeed.
you stand
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah. And then years ago when I started in 2009, which is now 17 years ago or more, my friend who helped me name the business Mr. Magic. So when we got the name, then we got the rainbow, then we had everything, you know. He says, now you have color, he said. Red speaks this, blue speaks that, you know. So he said, I told him then that as I was driving up around the communities from house to house and estate to estate, working and selling me wares, all the kids were chasing the van. Mr. Magic, Mr. Magic, Mr. Magic, you know. So then he said to me, he said, you know, when they get older, yeah, and they get their own apartments and their own houses, yeah, who are they going to ring for their windows to be cleaned and their gutters to be cleaned? So I was like, wow, I never thought of that, you know. So people who see it, youngsters, they're in time to come, they're going to avail of your services if you're still in business, you know. And
This
that's
is
what we get
Jason,
now.
this strategy from McDonald's.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go,
Absolutely.
applied on Mr. Magic.
I'm actually reading the book on Ray Kroc at the minute. I bought his little biography called "The Grinding It Out" from Ray Kroc. Powerful story, powerful story. So I'm halfway through that book at the moment, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. So
Hmm.
yeah, I see you have a lot of interactions, and even I like that you mentioned that even AI touched your business
Hmm.
because I see a lot of businesses are talking that, oh, AI is gonna take my job. Then somebody's saying like, yeah, that AI is doing something else, and now I can't really do what I used to do. But I truly believe that AI can help rather than be your enemy
Hmm.
because you can automate so many things and then you can do a lot more with your business, what you like to do with or work on the growth or on the strategy compared to just, doing the
Absolutely.
routine stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose as I was doing, I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of, quiet time, research into business, so on and so forth. And I came up with the conclusion, AI meets HI. So artificial intelligence meets human intelligence. And that's where we have to marry together because, you don't want to get left behind. You want to get on the wave of what's happening, enjoy it. One day we're going to get old and we'd be probably flying around in drones or whatever, going from Dublin to Belfast in
Yeah,
a drone, so we just don't know what's happening next. But to be a part of that, to understand it, to learn a little bit about it, and if you do get excited by it and it becomes part of your journey, well, then that's all the better for you.
absolutely. I think I'm on your side for this because technology is something that is inevitable, and as it develops, we just need to accept it. I remember purely in my decades from my life because when the mobile phones kicked in, and then my father was, I'm not gonna use a mobile phone. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna. And then I was studying then in the university in a different city, and then I came home and I see my father with a mobile phone, and they used to be, those new smartphones with the stick. They used to be with the stick. I call
Yeah.
it smartphone. In fact, it was, I don't know what it was. It was so funny. I'm like, were you told that you're not
Brilliant.
gonna touch a mobile phone?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, it's such a cool stuff. You were so right. It's like, oh my God, there
Yeah.
you go. And
And that
that's when I,
reminds me of, do you remember the Nokia Blocky?
oh yeah,
And you had the snake game on it. Do you remember the snake game?
yes,
And
yes,
there you are chasing this little thing around for ages on your phone because you wanted to be the biggest of so you done good.
exactly. And then you're stuck in your own tail.
Yeah. Big time, big
Yeah,
time.
yeah, fun times. And
Mhm.
yeah, kids would not know about these games.
No, certainly not,
But
certainly
it's
not.
so funny. And I
Mhm.
think it's the same with mobile phones decades ago, the
Mhm.
same with AI right now. Even if you don't want it to be there, it's still gonna be there. And just
Mhm.
you need to accept and see how you can embrace this change and make it as a challenge for you
Yeah.
and kind of go and adapt it towards what you want to adapt it to.
And it's funny you say that because I'm nearly always giving out to me kids, for the usage. You see them with it all the time, all day. They're walking by, they're on their phone. You say, now hang on, stop, no, no, no. So I like the good cop, bad cop. So my son and his friends, they've all started to go to the beach with the good weather. And he said, Dad, see that water? He said, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. He said, my head is so clear when I'm out there swimming in the water. And I just said, yeah, that's brilliant, son. And then his phone actually locked. He put the wrong passcode in. I said, there's a reason for that. I said, so just leave it off now. Don't be trying to force it. Leave it off for the hour, whatever you have to do. So yeah, they do. They need like the phones. Obviously, Steve Jobs knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he created the product. He worked on the person, on the brain, how we operate, the different things we go for. He knew it all. And that's how he created the product he created because he studied the human beings, he studied their behaviors, he knew what we were going to do. And unfortunately, he didn't have a happy ending. Obviously, I think he died of cancer. But such a creative man, that done so much for technology,
Yeah.
and for advancing technology. So yeah, hats off to that man.
Absolutely, absolutely. But also, like, interesting, you touched the moment that your kids enjoyed the weather and the sun and everything. And I wanted to say at that moment, like, welcome to our childhood. That was something we were aiming for, to leave the house and go and play outside with the friends. And I still remember I was about like 5 or 7 years ago when my daughter was sitting with the phone and I wanted to punish her. And I said, like, you're not gonna go outside and play with the friends. And she looked at me like, okay. I was like, what do you mean? Okay. She said, I have a phone. It's okay. I can be on the call. That's not funny.
Yeah. And who
But
bought the
yeah,
phone?
yeah,
Mammy did.
yeah.
So
But
we
but
give
there
we
was no
give them
choice.
something, here you go. And we want to give them the best one as well so that they're not getting jeered by their friends. Oh, you only have iPhone 12. Oh, I have iPhone 16, 17, whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's some marketing skills out there, all right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But I think it's all aiming towards the new generation on how and what they adopt, what tools, and that it's important to be on the trend. It's important to have the best camera because then you can have the best images that you put and the photos that you can put on social media for whatever reason they put it
Mm.
there. And by the way, how do you feel about social media for your business compared to, like, let's say 10 years ago, the same
Well,
Facebook?
I'll be honest, and I had a guy who done my social media, and he came on board for a couple of years. Okay, young lad, he just left college, and he came working for me. Very good, learned all the skills he learned. As time went by, then I hit a brick wall with the business. I went through a tunnel. So the staff were getting tired, frustrated, whatever. We could sense that there was something not right going on in the business. So everything changed, including the guy with the social media. He went and got a different job that paid better. He was going to go to Netherlands. Force was his first plan. So I actually stopped doing social media for a while. And that was amazing because I seen the amount of business that I could do without social media. Okay, because I had reduced my staff.
Yeah,
So I
the
had enough.
girls.
Yeah, I had enough with my technology on the phone numbers, WhatsApp, the usual. That was as much as I use. WhatsApp was one of the best apps that you can have on your phone for contacts for people. So WhatsApp and the ordinary phone calls done it for me for a while. But now that the business is starting to reboot and we're getting fresh bodies in, fresh men in to do the work, now we have to go back and revisit the website and do all the modern trends to start to interact with our clients again because apparently people, the minute they see an advertisement, they see a product that they want, they put a keyword in, whatever it is, and as you said, they see the first two people on top of Google recommendations. They're going for the first two. They're not looking at any of the rest on the bottom. So all that stuff does come into play, but at the same time you have to monitor it and you have to have good people supporting you with that campaign that you're going to run because you could be easily taken for with money Google ad
Yeah.
spends and this and that and the other, and you're aiming for the wrong deal. So yeah, you really have to have the right people on your team, especially with AI. And if you find somebody who's like a good accountant, you find a good accountant who will help you to run your business, not just keep taking money off you and keep telling you, oh yeah, everything's grand. Oh yeah, you're okay. Keep paying
Yeah.
money.
I'm
That's
just
not
doing
an
the calculations. That's it.
yeah.
And you're
A
like,
guy, an
what?
accountant said to me once, he said, you keep making the money and I'll keep counting it for you. And I was like, that's not very nice, like, but that's life, isn't it? Everyone has their own.
Yes and no. For me, the most confusing part always was that I would be coming up to the every other month. I see the VAT that my accountant calculates, and the question would be, "Are you okay if I submit that?" And I would be like, um, "I'm paying you money to do this. Why are you asking me? You need to tell me this is the amount and this is the correct amount." Because when you are asking me if you're okay to submit, then my question would be, should I go and try to calculate myself, do your job to double check if you're doing that correctly? That was like a huge concern for me. And that's why I told you that I created the Arventa tool. It was purely just for me to be sure that my VAT is my VAT and I'm not overpaying. Because the
Exactly.
accountant said, if you overpay, then you can return it back. I said, but to return something back from revenue, once it's in their hands, you need to prove. How am I going to prove something? If I keep on running, and I need just to have the
And
correct.
it's very frustrating for business people, when you don't have a good accountant, when you don't have good AI people, when you don't have good social media people, you try to do it all yourself and you just get lost in a rabbit hole, and then you think you're doing good for so long, but then one day it hits you
Yeah,
that you're using too much energy, you're focusing on too, and you're not seeing everything that's around you, like your family, your loved ones.
we
You're not
can't.
present. You're not present.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
AI is eliminating a lot of that, because stuff is done so quickly, so easily, that's all done. Click, 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 and away you go. You have the answer.
Yeah,
Whereas you tried
absolutely.
to ring somebody in an office, looking for somebody to help you with your accounts or with your situation. He's gone off for the weekend with his family. You're not going to get any answers. AI, it does it for you at the click of a button. It's done. You don't need that person anymore, So it is going to take a lot of jobs, but it's not going to take every job,
No, absolutely not. I think it's
So
going to be supportive for
yeah,
everybody who
I
wants to
agree.
job.
I agree. And if people get educated on AI in simplified ways, don't get lost in it. It's too big for anybody, but try and get a little bit of information that may help you in the area that you need help in. And if you see improvements there and benefits there, well, then try the next one then. Keep moving forward.
Totally agree. And to finish up our fantastic chat, I want to ask you to give one advice, anything that you think would be good for the listeners who are your fellow business owners, or want to run AI, or want to have some education, or want to get rid of the account, anything that you that you may think of.
I suppose the best advice is to never give up on your dream. Never give up on your dream. And if you don't get an answer, keep on going forward. Fail forward. Denzel Washington said that. Fail forward. Keep dreaming big. Your dream has to be massive. And if it is massive, you're one of the lucky ones on the planet. So believe in yourself, believe in your dream, and get support. There is support out there. Don't hide underneath a blanket or bury your head in the sand. Reach out to people. And you have access to so many people in the right area now through Google, through AI, and through whatever. But be careful as well.
Yeah, that's an absolutely amazing advice. And to add to this, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and then this friend told me, "You will not believe how many people are out there that would want to help you. You just need to ask."
Definitely. One guy told me to write a book. He said, Jason, write a book, he said, because when you do and you publish it, the right people will be attracted through your story. So
Absolutely.
watch out for the Mr. Magic book.
And I'm looking for the signature.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jason.
No
Have
problem at
a
all.
fantastic one.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Daria. Thank you.
Thank you.